Luca and Elias were born only 13 months apart, on the edge of a forest where the Sova River curved like a silver serpent. Their house stood alone, weathered but proud, atop a gentle hill overlooking the valley. Their parents, Moya and Drogon, were quiet people, raised by the war and healed by the land. The boys grew like saplings in rich soil, strong, eager, and wild. They spent their days wading into the river, building rafts out of driftwood, chasing hares through fields, and wrestling under the summer sun. Luca, the elder, was brave and stubborn. Elias, thoughtful and quiet, always looked up to his brother. Where Luca blazed ahead, Elias followed. But as they grew, differences rooted themselves like weeds. Luca longed for the world beyond the hills. He read old books about cities with towers that touched the sky, about fast trains and glass bridges. Elias, on the other hand, found solace in the land. He spoke to animals, grew herbs, and listened to the wind like it was a friend. At 16, Luca announced his plan. "I'm leaving," he told Elias, "by the river. I'm going to Sarajevo. Maybe further. I want to see what else there is." Elias said nothing at first. He just stared at the water. "So that's it?" he asked finally. "You're just leaving?" "I'm not a tree," Luca snapped. "I'm not meant to stay rooted here." Elias clenched his fist. "Neither am I," he said quietly, "but I don't need to run away to find out who I am." That was their last real conversation for years. Luca left the next morning, backpack slung over one shoulder, boots dusty, heart racing. Elias stood at the gate, arms crossed, refusing to wave goodbye. Luca's letters came for the first 2 years. "Elias, the city is everything I hoped. I'm working in a cafe and studying engineering at night. You wouldn't believe the trams, the lights. I saw a jazz band last week. It was like hearing color." Elias read every letter twice but never replied. A part of him resented Luca for chasing stars while their mother tended the goats alone and their father's knee stiffened with each season. The letter stopped after Luca joined a humanitarian engineering group. He was going to the Middle East to help rebuild schools. Then nothing for 5 years. Elias tried not to wonder. He buried himself in the farm, rebuilt the barn with his own hands, and sat at their mother's bedside when she died of a fever one January night. Their father followed 2 years later. Elias buried them both under the old oak, alone. When he came back from the cemetery, something made him dig through the attic. Luca's room was still full of books and maps with circles drawn around distant cities. Beneath a floorboard, Elias found the last letter Luca had ever written, one their father had hidden. "If something happens to me, tell Elias I never stopped thinking of him. Tell him I was wrong to live the way I did. Tell him I miss the river, and I miss him." Elias stared at the words until they blurred. 10 years had passed since Luca walked away. Elias was 32, with a lean face and calloused hands, when the man came up the path one late autumn afternoon. He was thin, with a limp and a heavy beard. His coat was torn at the shoulder, and his right arm bore a long scar. He leaned on a walking stick, but his eyes, Luca's eyes, were sharp and watchful. Elias stepped outside with the axe still in hand. "Can I help you?" The man smiled. "Depends. You still mad at your brother?" Elias stared. "Luca. It's me." They stood in silence, the wind rustling dry leaves. Luca dropped his pack and limped closer. "You look older," Elias said. "You look like Pa." They stared at each other until something in Elias cracked.